Alright, so hello and welcome to this video. I would like to show you a learning method that I use to learn new languages very effectively, but also to remember all kinds of information in general. First, I will explain the method itself, the idea behind it, and then how to apply it in practice. The method, I call it BlockPalace for this video, is basically the classic mnemonic device combined with the computer game Minecraft and the memory palace method of the ancient Greeks. I guess most people are familiar with mnemonics, and most people have probably heard of Minecraft. If not, you will see it in action in a moment. Perhaps not so many people are familiar with the memory palace, also known as the mind palace or low-key method. It involves linking information to locations because humans can usually remember places much better than sole abstract information. It worked in ancient times so that a scholar, for example on his way to a public debate, was mentally placing his arguments and ideas he had thought of in different places, in the temple or the palace. During the debate, he then only had to mentally return to these places, for example the stairs, and he had the argument at hand, which worked much better than trying to remember it out of thin air. Today, this trick is one of the most widely used learning methods in general, example by students, but also by memory athletes. And today you also don't need to use an ancient Greek temple, but simply a place you know well, example the way to work or your home, where you mentally store the information you want to remember under the sofa or next to the TV. Or you can simply build your own memory palace in Minecraft. I built this world in particular for learning Spanish. In this building, for example, are all my verbs. Over here are all words with a temporal reference. Down below, all with a spatial one. And down here are all words that have something to do with people and humans. Here are numbers, and this area is for special things that don't fit anywhere else. But it's not enough for me to simply place the words alone. I also connect each one with a concrete image, with the mnemonic device, which, like the place itself, is just much easier to remember than the word by itself. In this case, I place the Spanish word for time, tiempo, directly in front of the place I associate with time, and tiempo sounds very similar to tempo, which is a German tissue brand. Another example is right here below, where I have collected all spatial words. For example, did I associate the Spanish word for donde, for where, with Don Corleone. So the thought process is that whenever you want to remember a word, you go mentally to your BlockPalace. Normally, you know right away where to find that word, even if you can't remember the translation yet. When you go to the position of that word, in your mind, you immediately have the corresponding image, the mnemonic device, in front of you. And with that, you usually come up quickly with the translation. For example, I want to remember the word for husband, and I know that all words related to people are down here. And specifically, here on the right, that are here all words for family members. And I know that the word for husband is directly in front at the left. And I also know that there's a picture of Mario. And Mario sounds very similar to marido, the Spanish word for husband. But because I sometimes only come up with very creative images as mnemonics, I also like to use image generators. In the section for abstract terms, for example, I had an image created for the expression "I'm done," which in Spanish is "he terminado," And because you can pronounce it as he Terminator, I told the generator to create a picture of a very masculine Terminator. And this is what came out. Of course, you don't have to go through this thought process forever. At some point, the words will be anchored in your long-term memory and come to you automatically. Also, I have now only shown the BlockPalace for languages, but you can of course use it for all kinds of information. For example, if you study biology, for the names of different bacteria, or just for everyday stuff, like the name of your coworkers. What is basically the same thing anyway. To build your own BlockPalace, you first need the game Minecraft itself. You can download it for around 30 euros with your Microsoft account from the official website. Link number 1 in the video description. The problem in my case is that I can no longer access my Microsoft account. And because I refuse to create a new one, just so that I can buy the game a second time, I use the unofficial SK launcher to start Minecraft. If you want to use the SK launcher, make sure you have a Microsoft license, like I do. Otherwise you might get into legal trouble because of the copyright. And not to mention that it's highly unethical to cheat the mega corporation Microsoft out of 30 euro. In addition to the game itself, we need a way to integrate our images, the mnemonics, into the game. For this we use ImageMap, which can be found via link 2 in the video description. Just click download link here, go down to here, unzip the file, and you're good to go. Now we have everything we need. First we start now Minecraft as usual. The interface of your official Minecraft should look similar. This here is the SK launcher. We can simply select latest release and click on play. In the game we go to single player and create a new world. For game mode, it's best to select creative mode and to set the difficulty on peaceful and create new world. For the BlockPalace in our example, I thought we stick with the Spanish theme and learn the words domingo, meaning Sunday, and mes for month. Use the WASD keys to move and the spacebar to jump. Press the spacebar twice in a row and you can fly. You can access the building materials with the Q key. For now I will take a block, a fence and a sign to write the vocabulary on. With the left mouse key you can place the blocks and with right remove them again. Here we will leave some space for our mnemonic device. I'm thinking of Domino, the game, but that comes later. For mess, a month, I immediately think of a messy room for our mnemonic device, so a fitting building block would be maybe a cracked one. With the search tool we can check if something like this exists. Yeah, this looks messy. And to insert now our mnemonic devices, the pictures, we need to exit the game. For Domingo, Sunday, I have already downloaded an image of the game Domino. For mass, however, we will generate an image. For our example, I'm using the one from Perchance. Link number 3 in the video description. It's not particularly good, but it's uncensored and you don't need an account. So we tell the program to simply create an image of a messy room. Click on generate. So this here looks quite okay. We click right, save image, save. And now that we have our images, we open image map. Select our world, maps, open. Select our images. Confirm all, send all to world, and generate structure. Now are the images in the game, and we can integrate them into our BlockPalace. So we start Minecraft new. And now we have new items in our inventory. I don't know why the program generates 3 pieces. One image is duplicated. And placing the images is also cumbersome. First place them with left click, then left click again. And now choose the right angle relative to the world. I hope it's 90. No. Then 0. Yes. And the same. Here. Probably. Yes. So, there you go. Our first little memory palace in Minecraft. Hope you will have fun with it.